At this time, I would like to call the First Tennessee Human Resource Agency Governing Board to order on September the 25th, 2024 at 11:05 a.m. and appreciate all the ones that's on by Zoom. We do have a quorum. So at this time, I've asked Mayor Joe to lead us in prayer.
Happy to go to the Lord in prayer. Father, we just thank you for being so gracious to us. We just thank you for the opportunity to live where we do and to conduct business in this beautiful place. We thank you for the weather that you provide. We thank you for all the many blessings that you share upon us, the blessing of good health and the blessing of being able to come together and work with our friends and neighbors. We ask that you would bless this meeting, bless the work that's will be done in this meeting, and to the food that we will share together. We ask all these things in your precious son's name.
Thank you. Next, I've asked David to lead us in our pledge, so if they want to stand for the pledge.
Face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May be seated. Appreciate it. Thank you, David. Do we have anyone from the public that wants to address the board? Okay, I don't see anyone. On our old business, we need to have the approval of the prior minutes for the governing board and the executive committee board. So I hope you've had a chance to review them, but yet, if you want to take a minute to review them, then I'll accept the motion to approve.
Motion to approve, Mayor Evely.
Okay. Thank you. Did you get that? Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. So all in favor, if you'll show your right hand. Okay. Okay, so let the record reflect that we have approval, motion and approval to accept the prior minutes. On new business, first item is the agenda bylaws update reviewed by legal counsel. And I'm going to ask Jason to step forward and discuss this a little bit.
So we've had this on the agenda a few times, and it does require 2/3 of the board to approve it, which is 20. With that said, we don't have the attendance today. I did talk in the executive committee and with Mayor Jordan, our chairperson. What we might want to do is, since we haven't hit that threshold, is we'll go ahead and poll the members to see what's a convenient date and try to do a special call meeting with that one agenda item. And probably just need about 5 minutes. You know, we can do it by Zoom or whatever. But try to get a convenient date for you all and just get the time knocked out of the way. But we'll send out some information about a special call meeting and try to pick a date that works best for the majority. Okay.
Thank you, Jason. Okay. Next, we have our financial report by Ms. Judy Leach.
If you look behind the second tab, you'll see our financial report. It's only for a couple of months. Our fiscal year starts July 1st. You'll see a couple of deficits, but that's because of the way we bill our contracts and stuff like that. Nothing unusual, just billing delays. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Judy. Do I have a motion to accept the financial report as presented by Miss Judy.
I'll move.
Okay, Brother David made a motion to have a second, but Joe, all in favor, will show your right hand. Okay, let the record speak, it passes. Thank y'all. Item number 3 is a conflict of interest, and that's in your packet, and it should be where you got email the packet. You can print that conflict of interest statement and email it back to Jason. So it's very, very important we get that done. Item number 4 is a surplus listing, and I'm gonna let Jason discuss the surplus list.
We did have one vehicle this time. It's from our nutrition program. It does have a bad motor, it's listed. But we do need it declared officially as surplus so that we can sell it on the gov deals. It's obviously reached its useful life and not worth repairing at this point, but we would need a motion from the board.
Does anyone want to make a motion to approve that surplus list?
So moved.
Okay.
This is
Second,
Al.
second would be,
Okay. Okay, so all in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, and let the record speak, it passes. Thank you. Item number 5 is public entity partners. It's a property conservative grant. Jason will go over this with you.
Sure, this is a grant we apply for every year through our insurance carrier. Many of you all are probably familiar with public entity partners, since you're probably members as well. It is a 50% grant for a property. We've targeted some security cameras. This is money that we'd spend anyway. But we do need a motion to approve it. We've done it for several years now and have always been awarded the grant. So it is my recommendation that we go forward with it, but it would require a motion.
Okay, y'all heard Jason go over this property conservative grant. I'll make a motion, we approve this grant. Do we have a second? Second, Mayor Joe, all in favor, show your right hand, please. Okay, anyone, I bet I failed to ask on that, is anyone vote no on this request? Okay, I failed to do that on the other motions. Let the record speak that we accept it, okay? Item number 6 is monitoring reports by our director, Jason Cody.
We had several reports this time in the packet. It's just that time of the year. Sometimes it happens like that, but it kind of tells you the complexity of our agency and how many grants we deal with and organizations we touch. The first one is from the Center of Workforce Inclusion. It was a physical review for a senior employment program. This involves federal dollars from the Department of Labor. There were no findings on it. The Area Agency on Aging and Disability did a site monitoring. There's actually 2 reports there for the Meals on Wheels program, both for Central Kitchen. No findings noted on that. There was a DHS monitoring for a social service block grant, both for adult day service program and the personal support program. Again, there were no findings there. There was one observation about a personnel file, but we did, that was not a finding, but it was an item that we did correct. The DHS site monitoring of the summer food program, there were no findings. Of course, that was a new program. They did issue a report. It ended up going to Nashville, and they did change that to where there was one item. It was a recommendation about labeling of one of the products. It didn't label the meat content, apparently. for one of the shelf stable products. So that's another, they were tremendously pleased since it was their first time running the program. But that's something we'll improve upon next year, but the preliminary was no finding, but they did issue a labor report of what is going on. DHS monitoring of the child care food program. This is a program where we work with local daycare centers, where it's pass-through money for USDA for if they serve a lunch and snacks, they can get reimbursement. We monitor those sites. In that there were a few findings. It primarily had to do with the time of the meal being served. There were actual undercounts, not overcounts. So it was items that we were very conservative on and we did not approve payment for, but it was noted that it probably should have been reimbursement eligible. That's one of those things that happens when you're dealing with the daycare centers. It's hard to get kids together at a specific time. One might be taking a nap or something like that. It is complex, but we did submit a corrective action plan. I included that and it was accepted. So nothing major there, but as you can see, and with most of our reports, no findings, there's some items there, and we're working to improve that. I'll gladly answer any questions, but this is just for your information. There's no motion necessary to approve or anything.
Thank you. Great job on all those audits. It takes a lot of hard work from each area in the organization to have good findings, and we appreciate it so much. Item number 7 is a net trend safety plan, and I'll let Jason discuss that.
Every year about this time of the year, TDOT requires us to submit a safety plan. It contains a lot of statistics and information in it. It's included in your packet. They've already reviewed it and given it kind of a thumbs up, but it is a formality that we presented to the board. We reviewed it with the executive committee and it was their recommendation to approve it. It would require a motion for that.
Okay, y'all heard Jason's presentation on our net trend safety plan. It's written report, but does anyone want to make a motion to accept this safety plan?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by David. Anyone have a second?
I second.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand, please. Okay, anyone that opposes this motion, raise both hands. Okay,
Stick them up.
let the records reflect the motion carries. Okay. Next will be the executive director's report, Mr. Jason.
Okay. So a couple of things that I wanted to update you all on. We recently held our 50th anniversary, and I want to thank most of the people that were able to attend. I know we've got a couple of pictures here, and we'll get them up here and share. Bear with us 1 second. You were fine, Daryl. You're doing better than I would. There we go. Okay. So our 50th anniversary, I want to thank people for coming. We had very good attendance. We had probably a little bit more than 100 people show up to it. Community partners, board members, a lot of different folks. And it was a good opportunity to not only tour our facility here, but really get to know many of the programs and kind of what we do on a daily basis and kind of see it. I always say seeing's believing. I'm kind of one of those guys, once I see it, I kind of understand it. A lot of the things we do, if you want to click a little bit, Daryl. You kind of see some of it here. A lot of the things we do sound pretty simple, but then when you kind of see it in action, it's kind of amazing, like the kitchen back there. One of the other things I wanted to point out as well, besides the 50th anniversary that we had, was Meals on Wheels was recently spotlighted on Daytime Tri-Cities that came out. We're always looking for volunteers. We've got about 500 volunteers, but it seems like one of those things that we always looking for good people to help us out, to get kind of that last mile out in the community. The routes are actually designed to be delivered in about an hour. It's about 10 to 15 homes generally. And we map it out for the individuals, but just kind of a call out to you guys, because you're really connected into your communities, is if you know somebody, or if you could share that information, that we're always looking for volunteers. We love any assistance. We'll use people. However, if they've got 1 day a week, we'll gladly take them. We recently had our Nat Trans. We do an annual rodeo, and it's kind of spelled different, of course, but it's both a written skills test and an obstacle course, a driving challenge. So we evaluate our drivers every year on that. We do a big safety thing as well. We've won, I think, our van drivers that come in first and second place, we send to the state. And I think we've won 4 out of the last 5 years. And if we win state, we go to nationwide, and we've placed as high, I think, as 5th nationally. So hopefully, maybe this is the year that we'll place first. But there's pictures here, kind of some of the things they were doing during the rodeo. Click a little bit more there, Daryl. Yeah. So here's our first place driver. Randy Gosnell took first place this year. Randy's won before. Randy's a Carter County driver. Mayor Woodby, he's from Hampton. And second place is Peter Desjarnes. He's a Greene County driver. And third place to the far right on the screen here is Jerry Martin, and Jerry is a Washington County driver. So had good representation for multiple counties. And so Randy and Pete are going to the statewide competition. That's going to be in October in Franklin, Tennessee, and we wish them the best. We think we'll be able to bring home another trophy. I was giving Candace, I said, I don't know why we even need to take the trophy from back here in the back and take it with us, because they're just going to give it right back to us. You just need to just leave it here. But want to share that with you. A couple other things, just real briefly. State Controller Jason Mumpower, it's our time to have our sunset review, which is a legislative audit, to make certain that we're still meeting the needs of the community as when we were originally founded by state legislation. And I know several of you all are probably familiar with that process. We're reviewed periodically. I think last time it was a 5-year period. So the review is supposed to start in 2025 for us. However, I'm happy to make an announcement about that. He has been monitoring all of our audits that we turn in, and as you guys are aware, we haven't had a finding in, I think, about 10 years for this agency. And our sister agencies have improved as well. David could probably tell you, we've had a couple of sister agencies got in some trouble, but they're on the straight and narrow now, I'm happy to report, and doing much better as they should. And the comptroller announced that due to his review of the audits, and he felt very comfortable, there hadn't been findings in our sister agencies as well, that they're gonna limit the scope of the review this time, and it's not gonna be a full-blown audit. That it will be more of a Q&A survey. So I'm all for that. You know, I like the comptroller's office and they serve a valuable role, but if you've never been through one, they kind of are here for about a month or longer, and they send the team about 6 or 7, and it's pretty involved. So I think that's a good sign that they have a lot of faith and confidence in what we're doing, and that we're doing it well across the state. Two other items I have just real briefly. I'm happy to announce this time of the year, we renew our benefits, which is a big thing for our employees every year. We have an open enrollment where we renew our health insurance, dental, life, all that. I'm sure you guys deal with this all the time as well. Everything seems to be going up. Health insurance in particular is a big issue. But I'm happy to report we were a rate hold, 0% increase across the board on all the things without any benefit changes. So our employees are extremely happy that we weren't passing any cost increases and not having to absorb any cost increases from the agency. So tremendous news. I mean, that's just almost unheard of. It's like getting a Christmas present early. So great news there. One other thing I did want to make an announcement about, and it's this time of the year that I usually do this, and maybe y'all know, I've done it for several years now. I do teach a night course at ETSU, and I am currently doing that as well for the fall term, just to make you all aware of it. It doesn't interfere with my work here. It is strictly after hours. And something I've done for quite a while. I think it's a little bit more than my 5th year doing it. I really enjoy it. It's a good partnership with the business department over at ETSU. So just make you aware of that. And if there's any questions, but that's basically my report. I'm gonna step back here.
Okay. Thank you, Jason, as a very good report. And before you leave, Jason, when you teach that class over at ETSU, does it make you feel any younger?
It does. Sometimes they'll bring up stuff and I have no idea what they're talking about, especially with technology and stuff. They'll talk about drop boxes and things on their phone. I have no clue what they're talking about. So it's an education process for me some days.
Yeah. Thank you. And the 50-year anniversary went very well. I know Judy and I really hadn't toured the facilities, and so we took time to do that. And it was very impressive with every department and all the different things that they do to help this region, and I do appreciate it. In our previous executive committee meeting, we talked about Jason's pay performance and his where he stood compared to other human resource agencies in the state. And we were wanting to try and get some information together to see if we need to evaluate his pay or whatever. So I'm going to ask Joe to come and present to you all what he has found and see if we want to take any action today on this matter.
Just give us 1 moment.
You'll have to leave.
We're being asked to.
Y'all need to leave.
You're just scared.
Oh, there you go.
So I was asked to assemble a little bit of information, so I did. Paul Ralston is the association president for state ARAs, HRAs, and so I spoke with him, and he helped me collect some data. So in short, Jason is probably the lowest paid HRA director in the state. You know, by a pretty significant amount. His pay is just under $115,000. And, one of the recommendations that, came out of CCAS was that we try to line up, HRAs where they're separate. And across the state, just for your information, they're all just all different sizes, different markets, different number of counties that they represent. In some cases, for example, in Upper Cumberland, the development district and the HRA is all together. And so that director is the highest paid at $175,000. But most of them are independent. And so anyway, one of the recommendations is to try to keep them a little consistent with the with the development district's salary. So I don't know, that's something we might want to consider. Mike was hired in, I think, at about $138,000. My recommendation is that we immediately, in this fiscal year, move Jason up $10,000 to $125,000, and then consider it again as we go into the next fiscal year. So it was not planned in the budget, but in looking at the money and the surplus projected, there's plenty of space in there for this adjustment. So that would be my recommendation to this group, that we adjust to $10,000 and then consider that in the budget process for this organization next year for another amount, maybe another similar amount that would get him closer to where Mike is.
I'll move it. Second.
Good, Chairman, sir.
Okay.
For discussion purposes.
Okay, you've heard Mayor Joe's proposal and review of where Jason stands compared to other agencies and then human resources in the state. And we have a motion and a second to approve this $10,000 increase effective immediately. And so we want to go ahead.
Just discussion.
Question.
If we could,
Question.
and
Go ahead.
Mayor Granny may or may not have the answer. I noticed we asked other employees to leave as well. Does this cascade to them? Is there some type of scale that's set in place? If the exec makes this, then.
There is not.
Okay.
And the employees, including Jason, have been subject to the 5% raise, I think, for the last couple of years. So they've all moved up, but there wasn't any cascading down to the finance officers or any of these others from the information conversation.
The second question, if I could, Mayor, I'm going to vote in favor of the motion. I think Jason's very worthwhile. Is there something that initiated this conversation, or are we just being proactive and saying, hey, Jason's doing a good job, we need to protect that? Anything that started that conversation?
I'd like to say that we are proactive, but I think we're really behind the curve in evaluating Jason's salary. Now, I don't know how do we have an evaluation for him? Does anyone do an evaluation for Jason?
Well, I know for a fact he's not come around asking for more money.
Okay.
You
And
know,
that,
he's
Jason is
not done that. Yeah,
And
he's
this
not.
is not initiated by
so it's
him
executive,
or any staff member.
so it's executive committee recognizing we've got a great guy, we need to keep him. So.
And maybe a gap.
Yeah.
But if, sometimes when executive directors are not evaluated, say by the board or the board chairman, or there's not a process in place, you don't always think about it. And there's been a lot of changes in compensation for virtually everybody in our organizations over the last few years. So this seemed like an appropriate time to take a look at this.
Okay, do you, anybody by Zoom have any comments, questions they want to discuss?
This is sort of related, but not. I think we should task Jason to do a review of his overall organization and see if he has any recommendations on compensation changes. The fact that the insurance isn't gonna change is a big, big plus for them, but to David's point, I think we need to look at the whole organization and not just the top.
I think that's good. I think we can do this now, but it probably would be a great idea just to take a look at the others to see if they're, you know, within their market ranges as well. And maybe some that would never say anything that aren't, you never know, but I don't know who would do that, Joe. Is that something Jason's people could do maybe, or probably, I don't know. I used to do that with the university, but it's been so long, I would.
Just to brainstorm, that may be something that we could look at across the board at other HRAs, that
Yeah.
their finance director does this, their XYZ, or is
Well,
that, it may be a little more extensive than what we've just seen, but
Well, you know, I think that's something Jason should do probably.
as the executive.
Once we finish this up, he can do that, yeah.
So really, he's our employee,
Yeah.
and
then they're-
everybody else is his.
Yeah. Is there some way we could take a look at getting Mayor Woodby a raise? She's about, she's wearing David and I out with all the stuff she wants us to do.
If she gets a raise, she needs to distribute some of that to Mountain City, so we can post office.
Yeah.
I'm slowing down, Rusty. I'm trying to spend the
You second that,
money.
Mayor Potter? Do you second that?
Amen.
Amen, that's a thing.
So how do we wanna proceed? Do we wanna? We got a motion and a second, a motion and a second to approve the $10,000 increase.
All right, I'll call for the question if we have a quorum.
And we do have a quorum, so. Do we wanna, do a roll call? Or show of hands?
Show of hands would probably be easier.
Show of hands, okay.
Except for class five.
Everybody that approves giving Jason the $10,000 increase, raise your right hand. Okay. Looked like that's unanimous here. So, anybody oppose him getting the $10,000 increase, you just raise both hands, and I'm dropping mine down because I'm not doing that. Okay, let the record speak that Jason will receive $10,000 increase in his salary, and.
Is that effective, I guess, with the next?
As soon as they can get it.
The administrative work day.
Yeah.
And just to add, and probably task, as Rusty was saying, Todd was saying, just task Jason with the job of looking at other positions.
I'll second that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we need to do to task him, does that need to be
I think
a formal,
We can
or
ask.
just,
you, I
okay.
think.
we can just talk that.
So, any questions? I think it's about time to eat, so we're hungry, I don't know about you all, so I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Thank you, I appreciate y'all attending.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you later.
You wanna let him in?
Oh, Jason, back to us.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, what do you want these non-disclosure? Or non.
Conflict of interest. We didn't know anything about it either until the last. So we'll do that. We need to speak. We're not there.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking that we're probably coming on a regular basis. Besides the use of every single
Really and you know, they're, like I said, they're all different, but it's kind of a drop in.
That's not that bad.
Jason, so we have
Hey, so on this, come over here, sunset legislation. Yeah. He was gonna drive that. I don't get it. There's something we can handle.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
Whatever else.
And we.